Are you looking for the best gaming phone for most people? In this video we will find some of the 6 best gaming phone for most people on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description, so make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Starting at number 1, ASUS ROG Phone 7. The ROG Phone 7 isn't the latest in ASUS gaming lineup, but it's easily the one we recommend for most people. Not only does it have all the great gaming specific features you'd expect from a gaming phone, but it also performs well in other tasks. Most other gaming phones have glaring weaknesses, but this one is a fantastic all-around device. It's also one of the very few phones with a 3.5mm headphone jack. The biggest gaming feature here is the hardware shoulder buttons, called air triggers. These are located where your fingers rest when holding the device in landscape, and use ultrasonic sensors to perform a similar task to triggers on a console controller. However, we were a bit disappointed that they don't give that satisfying click that gaming controllers have. Thankfully, you can get clicky triggers by picking up the all-new Aeroactive Cooler 7 accessory, which also helps cool the phone. It also has a pass-through headphone jack and a subwoofer. Number 2. Black Shark 5 Pro. Black Shark has been making gaming phones for years now, and the Black Shark 5 Pro is the latest of the bunch. Software support for these phones is limited, but if you can look past that, you're getting some seriously great specs. The Pro model features the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, paired with up to 16GB of RAM. This is probably more RAM than you need, but overkill is the name of the game when it comes to gaming phones. It also packs a 4,650 mAh battery with 120 watts charging that the company claims gets the phone from 0 to full in just 15 minutes. Even better, the charger is included in the box. Number 3. Nubia RedMagic 8 Pro. If you want raw performance at bargain prices, the Nubia RedMagic 8 Pro is worth a look. It sacrifices a lot when it comes to software features and support, but the hardware is more than capable of extreme gaming. Like other gaming phones, the RedMagic 8 Pro puts a heavy emphasis on cooling. It pairs 12 or 16GB of RAM with the same Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 as the ROG Phone 7 series, and in our benchmark tests it nearly matched ASUS best. That means it outperformed the Galaxy S23 Ultra by a sizable margin while costing hundreds of dollars less. The rest of the specs largely match their ROG Phone 7, with a massive 6,000 mAh battery, 65 watts charging, super fast storage, and capacitive triggers. The 120Hz AMOLED screen is still plenty speedy, and again, not many games will support frame rates above 60 FPS anyway. Cameras aren't great on any gaming phones we've tested, so it should come as no surprise that the RedMagic 8 Pro isn't a great camera phone. In fact, the under-display camera is downright awful, although it does allow for an uninterrupted bezel-less display while gaming. The overall build quality is decent, and Nubia has packed the phone with a few interesting gaming features. They aren't on the same level as ASUS Armory Crate, but it's a nice start. However, Nubia has a spotty record with software support, so don't expect this gaming phone to stay on the latest software for long. Number 4. Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. Moving out of dedicated gaming phone territory, the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra is a powerhouse that will satisfy any mobile gamer's needs. It doesn't have shoulder buttons, but it does take a page out of the Galaxy Notes book with a built-in S Pen. This can come in handy for strategy games that require precise tapping. We loved the new grippy texture of the latest S Pen, and it stows away safely in the phone itself. Apart from that, this phone really does have it all. It's easily among the best Android phones you can buy, earning our pick for the best premium Android phone outside of Samsung's own foldables. The massive 6.8-inch dynamic AMOLED display is gorgeous and perfect for games, although it's not suited for one-handed use. Playing games in landscape should be fine, but if you're coming from a smaller phone there will be a learning curve. Speaking of which, the curved display will also take some getting used to if you want to avoid unwanted taps. As expected, Performance was nearly perfect in our testing. The Galaxy S23 Ultra doesn't have any of the fancy cooling features of dedicated gaming phones, but it makes up for it in other ways. The Galaxy exclusive version of the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 is a great performer, and heat dissipation is much better than its predecessor. The phone also supports the latest standards like Wi-Fi 6E, Wave, and sub-6 GHz 5G, plus ultra-wideband for things like Bluetooth trackers, such as Samsung's own Galaxy Smart Tags. Some of these might make a minor difference while gaming, but they make a huge difference in everyday use. That said, the lowest spec model starts at 8GB/128GB, which we think is too low for a phone at this price. The 12GB/256GB version is the one to get. Number 5. Apple iPhone 14 Pro Max. If you want to opt for Apple's side of things, the iPhone 14 Pro Max is a clear winner. It isn't a huge improvement over last year's iPhone 13 Pro Max, but we didn't find many faults with that one either. Apple's Bionic processors have always outperformed anything Android can muster, and the same is true for the Apple A16 Bionic. However, our own testing on the A15 Bionic revealed that Apple's 2021 processor loses out to dedicated Android gaming phones when it comes to raw GPU power. Keep in mind, however, that it won't matter in the vast majority of situations. This phone can play any game on the market with ease, and iOS tends to have more apps and games available. Measuring 6.7 inches, the iPhone 14 Pro Max's ProMotion 120Hz OLED panel is sharp, bright, and has an excellent contrast ratio at 2,000,000:1. Once again, there are no built-in shoulder triggers, but you can get an even better experience by picking up a Razer Kishi, effectively turning your iPhone into a mini Nintendo Switch. Number 6. Poco F4 GT. Want a cheap gaming phone? The Poco F4 GT is a fantastic option, but only for those outside of the US. It has a lot of flagship specs for a €599 phone, but you are sacrificing long-term update support. Starting with specs, you're getting the same Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 processor found in phones that cost $200 to $300 more. In our testing, we found it can go toe-to-toe with the Galaxy S22 Ultra, although it ran hot without the enhanced thermals found in more expensive gaming phones. We did, however, love the retractable shoulder buttons. They provide nice feedback, and can be mapped to on-screen virtual buttons via the Game Turbo side menu. The speedy 120Hz performed well during our review period, although it isn't exactly anything special compared to the rest of Xiaomi's non-gaming mid-range lineup. You can switch between 60Hz and 120Hz to save battery, which is great because battery life was just average at around 6 hours in our testing. Thankfully, the 120 watts charging topped it back off in 17 minutes flat.